Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching this. Welcome back to the channel, Up the Reds TV with me, Andy Canby. So this one is the match preview for our away game at Forest tomorrow, and believe me, this is a tough game for the Reds to go into, and we'll discuss that in more detail. So Arne had his press conference today, and it was really an interesting one. Delved into it a bit more than I would normally do, but some of the things that he said were quite interesting. So firstly, let's get to the injury news front. Let's get that one out of the way. Obviously, no Joey, he's miles off it. He's not going to be available. He's the only one, believe it or not, who is injured or ill. No Darwin Núñez, because he's got a suspension to do, and he's not available for the game. Yeah, so Forest, he was asked about Forest. He said, look, Forest are in the mix. He said that they are one of the Liverpool's rivals because of where they are in the league. And yes, they are. You know, they've got a bit of a winning streak going on, or unbeaten streak, keeping 5 clean sheets in the last 5 games. So we know how tough that is. It is, and it's, you know, it's a testament to how their manager Núñez, you know, has taken them. Remember, this guy was manager at Spurs, and he got sacked. Then he went to Saudi Arabia, and he came back, and look at the he's pulling up the trees at Forest because players are playing the way they want them to play with his style of football. So every credit to him. You know, you can't really knock that. So yeah, Arnie said, look, I'm not really surprised, he said, where they are since they beat us. And he said you can see that they play literally the same way as when they beat Liverpool. I mean, I was at that game. We were never going to score in a month of Sundays in that game. You could just see they covered every blade of grass. They were really good. And yes, it was after an international break. And yes, I've said this before, Arne did play the South Americans, but he touched on it that he's rewatched the game a couple of times, and he's not looked at what they were doing. He's looked at what we weren't doing and what we could do better. So obviously him and his coaching staff have sat together and analysed the game on more than one occasion, and hopefully they'll come up with a suitable plan with that. So yeah, Arne's not shocked where they are in the league, and he said, and that's they deserve to be there. But yeah, he's also pleased that he's virtually got all his players to choose from. He said it's very important for the second part of the season. The reason for that is because teams tend to spend some money, go and get some players to strengthen the squad. But he said the teams at the lower half of the league, they tend to pick up points from teams on the top half of the league. He said that's how the Premier League has worked, and he sees no difference to that from the second half of the season. So he's aware of what's going to happen to obviously Liverpool and other teams as well, especially in the top half, and what we're going to get from the bottom half team. So I thought that was a really good, honest opinion by him. He said Forest are a hard-working team off the ball. He said they make it hard. they don't play from the back. It's basically they let teams come onto them, then they counter-attack, they flood the midfield with 5 players, and the keeper goes long. We've already had this with Tottenham and Manchester United, haven't we, where the keeper's gone long and we've come unstuck against United and Tottenham there. So I'm hoping with the players that were rested and the strongest team that's going to play that they've been working something on training to get that sorted out. He touched on Harvey Elliott and a few other players for that matter. Rio Ngamoa. You know what a talent he is. Everybody could see that, and what he does in training. But yeah, the conversation around Elliott came about because a question was asked about Wataru Endo playing centre half and how good he is at playing there. I mean, he did say that look, he played centre half when I brought him on against Spurs, and obviously when Ibu came on, he moved him out of there and they scored. So, and clean sheet, wasn't it, that weekend? I know it was Accrington Stanley, and I named him my man of the match. But he said, look, I'll give you an example about Endo. I asked Elliott to come into the office because he wanted to have a chat. He said he wanted to play in his number 10 position. Unfortunately, he's got 1 or 2 players in that position. He'll have to fight his way into that, whereas he doesn't need to have that conversation with Endo. Endo is the ultimate professional, and this is what I said. I tweeted about him being the ultimate professional, leadership qualities. You don't have to ask him. He'll play anywhere for the team and he will do a good job from whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 25 minutes, half an hour, 90 minutes. And there's the difference. And I think he's not been involved in all the squad selections this season, which really, you know, as a player, you always want to be involved, even if you're in and around the dressing room, on the bench. That's what you want to be. And he's not had some of those, and he's not been injured. He's just not been picked. But I think Arne Slot and his staff know the full quality of him, you know, being a squad member and being involved in the games. So he's probably changed Arne Slot's mind, and his coaching staff for that matter, which is good, because I watched him on Saturday live. I watched him for 5 minutes while the game was going on, and superb, absolutely superb. Didn't put a foot wrong at all, and he even had the captain's armband. That's how much respect that Arne Slot gave, or the team gave to him. He had it on for a few minutes, but yeah. So Harvey Elliott's an interesting one then. So obviously he said he's had a chat with him. Harvey Elliott has, for me, got to do a bit more to get into this team, because I'm not saying that Arne Slot doesn't fancy him, but there are talk about he could be, if he's not getting game time, he could be on his way. If it happens in this window, it happens in this window. I know Brighton are monitoring the situation. Borussia Dortmund, they're monitoring it as well. They look for English talent. So is he for sale? You let me know in your comments if he's for sale or not, or what do you think? Because he is struggling to get into this team. I mean, I would have thought that he would have been a shoo-in for the Spurs game, but he wasn't, was he? And no disrespect to Accrington Stanley, but he got a run out in the Accrington Stanley game. So yeah, it just goes to show, doesn't it? You know, yeah, he's got players in front of him. Was Arne just not hanging him out to dry, but was he just saying, look, you know, this is how I deal with players here. So yeah. On Forest, we know it's going to be a difficult game tomorrow, very, very difficult. We rested all our players apart from one, which was Trent. Trent needed a run out just to get his confidence levels back up high after the Man United much talked about performance. So yeah, he needed a good run out and he got it. So my team: Ali, Trent, Ibu, Verge, Robbo. Midfield: Ryan, Gravenberg, Slobosly and Maka. Up front: Cody on the left, either Diaz or Gapco down the middle, and Mo on the right hand side. So obviously we'll have the youngsters on the bench. Not Harvey Elliott will be there, Curtis, if that's the team that he goes with. Curtis, Jaden Dans, hopefully Tyler Morton. I thought he did all right. Endo. So the bench should be okay, but it's a game that we need to take something from, even if it's a point. I'd love the 3 points. I'd love us to get back on track to getting a performance like we were 4 or 5 games back, where we are not conceding goals. I mean, like I said, Forest have kept 5 clean sheets on the bounce. They're a hard team to score against, but they're a fast counter-attacking team. On the break, they'll hit you on the break. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one. They're all tough in the Premier League, but the way that Forest are playing and the way that Forest are getting results, we need to be on our game. We cannot start slow in this game. It's an old habit that we've sort of like let creep back in this season. I thought Arne got rid of that, because that was the trait of Jurgen's team last season. On the plus side, we've got no injuries. We had horrendous injuries last season, and that's why our winning the Premier League, winning any other major trophies collapsed, because of the horrendous injury that we had. I think it was 15 players last season, and it just took its toll at the end of the running. So yeah, but 3 points would be nice. We need to just do our bit and do it well. We need to convert our chances. We need to make the right decisions. We need to make sure we've got all the lanes and channels boxed off and closed off to stop Forest from counter-attacking us like they have many teams this season. Okay, so that's the end one for me. Interesting, nothing from the transfers or the contract situation. I think it's 2 press conferences running now. That's not been mentioned about the contract. So obviously, I don't know whether the journalists have been told to keep stum, or they've just got fed up of and stop asking the questions. Okay, if you like this video, give me a like. If you're new to watching it, please subscribe to the channel and please share. Okay, look after yourselves. I will do a post-match after the game is finished tomorrow evening. It will be a late one, but I'll certainly do one for you guys. Okay, enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. Up the Reds.